Yeah, so the main thing today we're going to talk about I watched the Kyle Rittenhouse cross-examination the other night. I haven't been keeping up with the trial a ton. I've watched a few things, and basically just seeing like the crying thing, I was like, oh, I actually should start watching this trial. So I did, and Jesus Christ, the prosecution pissed me off. But it probably makes sense because I already kind of do side with Rittenhouse. I think he was acting in self-defense, even though maybe he probably shouldn't have gone there. It was probably dumb of him to go. And also, I don't think he was technically allowed to have that gun. But I don't think that's not the major charge. That's not the main debate right now. The main debate is Kyle Rittenhouse an alt-right neo-Nazi murderer who hates black people and wants to just mow down dipshit protesters, as our boy Destiny would say, or is he just someone who maybe shouldn't have gone there, shouldn't have gone and defended property, who was just defending himself when he wasn't the only one who didn't really have a good reason to be there. But yeah, that's the main question of this. So I guess today I just basically wanted to cover a lot of the videos from the cross-examination, just different highlights that I thought were relevant and I wanted to kind of cover on the stream. And yeah, let's jump right into it. So let's switch to the screen again. So yeah, the first thing I wanted to cover, basically I just wanted to go over the two times where or in the section that I watched where the judge yelled at the prosecutor, just because I thought that was interesting. It's like, it feels like the prosecution doesn't really have much, so they're just trying to throw everything at the wall and see what sticks. And this is leading to a little bit of trouble with the judge and the prosecutor, leading to some problems, let's say. So here's at the beginning of the cross-examination period. So here's the first thing that I saw, because I watched the video on this news site right away, just because it's 55 minutes. I think I got to 30 or 40 minutes. I don't have a ton of time anymore. I'm a college student. I'm taking 19 credit hours, also doing the OAC. I don't have time to watch a 55-minute video, but for some reason I have time to stream about it. So fuck it. Let's get going. So yeah. See, I guess just to start with, I don't know. In general, I don't like the prosecutor's attitude. He's just so, I don't know. He just has a, what's the word I'm looking for? Pretentious vibe, you know? But that's okay. Maybe I just don't like him because I think Kyle Rittenhouse is acting in self-defense and I disagree with him. So, got to be introspective, guys. Oh shoot. Yeah, let's actually turn on the audio for the video. Okay. Thank you, Diego. Let's restart that. Okay. I guess nothing has been said that's really important yet. So, let's just keep going.
I didn't intend to kill them. I intended to stop the people who were attacking me
by killing them.
I did what I had to do to stop the person who was attacking me.
By killing them.
2 of them passed away, but I stopped the threat from attacking.
I guess at the beginning too, I'm a little confused why he's maybe this is something he's coached by his lawyers to not say that he killed them, to say oh, I was just trying to stop them from attacking me. So I kind of see what's going on. I don't understand why he can't just say yes, I killed them, but that's what I needed to do to stop them from attacking me. But
attacking me
by using deadly force.
I used deadly force
that you knew was going to kill.
I didn't know.
Yeah, I think I agree though. I do think it's probably good. He's yeah. I don't understand why it's coached that way, but maybe I'm just stupid, which is always a possibility.
If it was gonna kill them, but I used deadly force to stop the threat that was attacking me.
You intentionally used deadly force against Joseph Rosenbaum.
Oh, and it's buffering. Shoot.
Correct?
Yes.
You intentionally used deadly force against the man who came and tried to kick you in the face.
Yes.
Correct? You intentionally used deadly force against Anthony Huber. Correct?
Yes.
You intentionally used deadly force against Gage Grosskreutz, correct?
Yes.
With regard to Joseph Rosenbaum, you fired
Law courts about rationalization first over word concepts and actions. Yeah, I probably agree with that because it seems like a lot of times, from when I was watching this, a lot of this video seemed about very much focused on like rhetoric. He's like focusing on trying to frame him in a certain way rather than like actually focusing on the meaning behind stuff. He's like trying to frame him to a jury in a certain way, which I guess makes sense because that's sort of what has to happen when you have a trial by jury of your own peers, because then like most people don't actually know much about like the law. But we kind of do have to like have juries. I think juries are important, but yeah.
4 shots at him, correct?
Yes.
You intended to kill him, correct?
I didn't intend to kill him. I intended to stop the person who was attacking me and trying to steal my gun.
Gosh, my internet's terrible, guys. I'm sorry.
Since August 25th, 2020, this is the first time
Oh, here's the part.
that you have told your story.
Yeah, you can hear the defense objecting right now too.
Since August 25th, 2020, you've had the benefit of watching countless videos of your actions that night, correct?
I've seen certain videos, not all of them. I've seen the majority of them actually here during the trial.
You've also had the opportunity to read articles. People have written interviews, things like that, about what happened that night, correct?
I do my best to avoid what people write on the internet. A majority of it's not true.
Based.
You have also sat
I
here
don't know.
through 8 days of trial, correct?
Yes.
And you've had the opportunity to watch all of the videos that have been
Yes.
played in this trial.
Yes.
Sir, if you could please let me finish my question before answering. And I will do my best to let you finish your answer before I go on to the next question. Fair?
Yes.
You have also had the opportunity to listen to the testimony of all 30-some witnesses that have testified in this trial so far, correct?
Yes.
And after all of that, now you are telling us your side of the story, correct?
Correct.
I'm going to ask you folks to go.
Yeah, so the judge, this is where the judge steps in, because this is pretty obviously fucked up, and if you don't know exactly what's going on here, basically, like, the prosecutor is putting doubt about, like, what Kyle's saying now because of his silence early on. So this is kind of, like, in a sense, using his right to remain silent against him, which is pretty fucked up from a legal perspective, from a constitutional perspective. He has every right to remain silent as long as he wants. He has no obligation to, like, tell the story right away to the cops. Like, yeah, so this is, the judge is definitely right to step in here. But this is like the first instance where the judge steps in just to, like, admonish, is that the right word? The prosecutor.
Go on the library for just a second. Please don't talk about the case.
He's commenting on my client's right to remain silent.
Yep.
No, Your Honor. I am making the point that after hearing everything in the case, now he's tailoring his story to what has already been introduced.
The problem is, this is a grave constitutional violation for you to talk about the defendant's silence. And that is, and you're right on the borderline, and you may be over, but it better stop.
Understood.
This is, I can't think of the case, the initial case on it, but this is not permitted. All right, ask the jury to come in, please.
So we have this. So this is like the beginning, and then later on in the case, there's like another conflict between the judge and the prosecutor. I couldn't find any clips of this one, which kind of surprised me. But this one I found like a YouTube clip on it. This is a 14-minute video, so just to keep mine a little shorter, I'm gonna play it at 1.5 speed. But yeah, here we go.
You indicated that at no time did this gun, this AR-15, ever leave the state of Wisconsin. Is that right?
Other than the night after, other than that.
Before the shootings.
Correct.
There was a time, though, where you wanted to have it with you down in Illinois, isn't it? Wasn't there?
I believe there was a time when me and Dominic were mad at each other. Yeah.
You were mad at Dominic,
Me and Dominic were mad over something.
and you wanted to have the gun with you down there?
I think I said something along those lines.
You'd agree with me that back up for a second here. You have testified to this jury that you used deadly force against Joseph Rosenbaum, Anthony Huber, the man who attempted to kick you in the face, and Gage Grosskreutz on the night of August 25th, correct?
Yes.
And you did that because you felt that your life was in danger from those 4 people, correct?
Yes.
And you are telling this jury that it was, in your mind, justified to use deadly force to protect your own life, correct?
Yes.
You'd agree with me that you were not allowed to use deadly force to protect that car source building, correct?
Well, I wasn't using deadly force to protect the property. I used deadly force to protect myself, so.
Please listen to my question and answer my question
That's a good answer though, I think.
if you can. You'd agree with me that you were not allowed to use deadly force to protect that car source building, correct?
Yes.
You'd agree with me that you were not allowed to use deadly force to stop someone from smashing the windows of an unoccupied parked car, correct?
I don't think you could use deadly force for that.
You'd agree with me that you can't use deadly force to stop someone from lighting a metal dumpster on fire, correct?
Correct.
You'd agree with me that you can't use deadly force to stop someone.
The dude who got shot in the arm was on a talk show today, claiming the opposite of what he said on the stand. Yeah, I heard there was something where, like one of the witnesses that the prosecution brought forward just like described it in a way that was super favorable to Kyle Rittenhouse. Was he the one who like aimed the pistol at Kyle? I don't. Oh, geez. Okay, I don't remember. I haven't been keeping up with the trial a ton, but I have watched a little bit. But in no way can he be arrested for perjury then now or something. No, you can lie. I think you can lie on TV, but you can't lie in the courtroom. So let's. I wonder in which case he was telling the truth. In the one on media where he made Kyle look bad, or the one in the court where it made Kyle look better.
From tipping over.
Correct.
You'd agree you can't use deadly force to stop someone from lighting a flatbed trailer on fire, correct?
Correct.
You'd agree with me that you can't use deadly force to stop someone who is about to start an unoccupied car on fire, correct?
Correct.
You'd agree with me that you can't use deadly force to stop someone from lighting some traffic cones in the middle of the street on fire, correct?
Correct.
So you understand that there's a difference between using deadly force to protect yourself and using it to protect property, correct?
Yes.
And you'd agree with me that you're not allowed to use deadly force to protect property, correct?
Yes.
But yet you have previously indicated that you wished you had your AR-15 to protect someone's property, correct?
I'm going to ask you to go into the.
So this is where the like all hell breaks loose basically, because I think this piece of evidence was dismissed earlier in trial, or I haven't. Oh geez, because I remember watching this earlier, and well, I guess we can kind of watch for a little more context. I don't fully know the context of this, but they do explain this like right afterwards, so I think it's probably okay to talk about just because they like explain it. I think this was a piece of evidence that was thrown out earlier in the case, and they don't want him bringing it up, basically. So the judge will go into this a little bit more.
Library again for a moment, please. Please don't talk about the case.
Mr. Richards? Your Honor, Mr. Binger is either forgetting the court's rulings or attempting to provoke a mistrial in this matter. He knows he can't go into this, and he's asking the questions. I asked the court to strongly admonish him, and the next time it happens, I'll be asking for a mistrial with prejudice. He's an
Mr. Binger? First of all, Your Honor, this was the subject of a motion. I'm well aware of that, and the court left the door open.
Chad defendant asking for a mistrial. Let's go.
For me, not for you.
My understanding of
You
your...
should have come and asked for reconsideration. You did on the one motion, and in fact, I granted your motion for reconsideration.
That was not a motion.
Excuse me. I did. I granted.
We did not move
that
to
was
reconsider.
their motion.
We have not filed any
forgive me.
motions to reconsider in
Forgive
this
me.
case.
That was their motion for reconsideration, which I denied. But I said I denied it, or I indicated a bias towards denial is what I did. Held it open with a bias towards denial. Why would you think that made it okay for
And then this dude's so slimy because he like we'll
you
watch
without
it.
any
We'll watch
advance
it.
notice to bring this matter before the jury? I was astonished when you began your examination by commenting on the defendant's post-arrest silence. That's basic law. It's been basic law in this country for 40 years, 50 years. I have no idea why you would do something like that. And it gives, well, I'll leave it at that. So I don't know what you're up to.
May I respond?
Yes.
We filed another acts motion on this exact issue because, in my mind, and I argued this, it is identical to what was going on the night of August 25th, in the sense that the defendant was using this exact same weapon. He was using it in a manner to try and protect property.
No, he wasn't.
Your Honor,
That's literally not true. He wasn't defending property once. He wasn't shooting people who were like destroying property. He was shooting people who were coming at him. But
with all due respect,
I'm not going to rehash the motion. That's absolutely untrue. And there's no. Your arguments of record My comments are of record, and why I ruled as I did is of record. There's nothing that I heard in this trial to suggest that anything's changed. Even if you're correct in your assumption that you know more than I did at the time, you should have come to the court and say, I want to go into this. Why you would think that you could go into it without any advance notice to the court, I don't understand that. And as the defense is pointing out, you're an experienced trial lawyer, and this should not have been gone into.
Your Honor, there have been things in this case, testimony in this case, that I believe opens the door to this. For example, the defense has introduced evidence that the defendant pointed a gun at a man wearing yellow pants because that person was on a car, on the car source lot. Now, there's no justification that I can think of why the defendant would point that gun.
Lisa says, Garrett, you getting a sub for me? You have a cool way of explaining things. You are thorough without being patronizing. You're very, very well suited to a career in media. Thanks for letting us hang out with you. Thank you so much. That makes my day, actually. That's a really nice comment.
At someone. The defendant has just testified this morning that he agreed with that person in the yellow pants that he pointed the gun at. He said, I was joking when I said that to the guy in the yellow pants, but he said, he's acknowledged that he told the person in the yellow pants, yeah, you're right. I did point a gun at you when you were sitting on a car.
He said, I did. That's what he
Exactly.
testified.
So he's agreeing. May I finish, please? I'd like to have a chance to make a record if I could, without being interrupted, if that's okay. He has mentioned that he's acknowledged that he's used this gun to protect property. He's also just acknowledged that he knows he can't do that. I am attempting to impeach him now with the prior August 10th incident, 15 days prior, involving the same gun, where he is threatening to use that gun to protect property. It goes...
He had the gun with him.
Your Honor, he is saying he wished he did so he could shoot people.
You know, there's a lot of difference between commenting about something when you haven't got a gun and threatening someone when you do.
You know, it's interesting, Your Honor, because the entire defense theory in this case is Joseph Rosenbaum, who was unarmed.
I want you to tell me what the defense theory of the case is. I want...
May I
look,
respond to what you just
See,
said,
this is just messed up. Like he brought up evidence that had been like dismissed earlier in the trial, and the judge is like explaining to it, and he's still like trying to like, I don't know, just like squirm around and defend himself. Messed up.
I'd like to respond to what you just said. I apologize, Madam Court Reporter, but I'd like to try and make a record without anyone interrupting me, if that's okay. I believe that there is a central part of this case that Mr. Rosenbaum is making threats that he has no ability to carry out. So, to your point, Your Honor, you're arguing that this August 10th incident, one aspect of why you don't believe it's relevant is the defendant didn't have the gun with him. This case is about someone who didn't have a weapon, and yet the jury is being told, because of those threats, that means the defendant has to defend himself. So, with all due respect, Your Honor, mere verbal threats.
Yes, but those are threats of someone like actively like chasing somebody and like trying to grab his like that's very different. But
have already been shown to this jury and used as a basis for someone's subsequent actions. I am attempting with the defendant to use his mere verbal threat on August 10th, 15 days prior, that he's going to shoot shoplifters with his AR-15 to impeach the defendant in a murder trial. I would ask the court's forbearance to do that. I apologize, Your Honor. You're right. I probably should have brought this to your attention earlier. I may have misunderstood your ruling because
yeah. Okay, I think we've gotten the basic idea out of this one. Basically the main point so far is there were two instances in the cross-examination where the prosecutor basically just like there's a confrontation between the prosecutor and the judge. So I think that's how I wanted to start this off. Just like I don't know, I don't like the prosecutor very much. I just feel like a lot of this is just the prosecutors like trying to throw stuff at the wall, see whatever sticks. And hoping that something will stick, because that's the job of a prosecutor anyway. So like that's his main job. So you can't even fault him for it. If I were in this position of the prosecutor, I would be doing the same exact thing. So it's easy to like look at this guy and be like, oh, I don't like him. He seems pretentious. He just has all these problems. And it feels that way when you're watching him. But I guess I don't know. It's like okay. But also there's some weird stuff where it's like it seems like he's like violating some of the court's rules, but I guess that probably happens in trial, and it's probably good that you have a defense and a judge to be able to like sort that sort of stuff out. So yeah, now let's watch the next clip. This was just a clip from that I thought was funny too from the cross-examination that I wanted to talk about a little bit. So let's watch this clip.
Isn't it true when you would hang out with Dominic Black, you'd play Call of Duty and other first-person shooter video games?
Sometimes.
And those are games in which you use weapons like AR-15s to pretty much shoot anybody who comes at you, correct?
So this is the violent video games cause violence argument.
It's a video game where two players are playing together. I don't really understand the meaning of your question, to be honest.
Isn't one of the things people do?
I feel like in his head he's just like holding back laughter right now. Like, oh, this is such like a boomer line of prosecution. Oh God.
Try and kill everyone else with your guns.
Yeah, in the video game, it's just a video game. It's not real life.
Now, you introduced yourself as living in Walworth County right now. Isn't it true when you would hang out at
pause.
Dominic Black,
Pause.
you'd play Call of Duty and other first-person shooter video games?
This is so dumb. And if you guys don't understand, okay, like the violent video game thing, that's been a meme forever. It's generally, from what I've heard, not considered like, oh, this is something that's associated with violence. It's generally been debunked from my understanding of it. But also just like on a like instinct, what's the word I'm looking for? Like on an intuitive level, it doesn't even make sense that like there's clearly a difference between killing someone in a video game and killing someone in real life. Like very clearly, the amount of like the emotional stress put on somebody, the amount of trauma caused by it, and we'll get into like trauma responses a little later because there's something that people have been talking about a little bit with that. But it's clearly different. Like a violent video game is basically like a laser tag or fucking like paintball wars and that sort of shit. Like this sort of stuff does not cause violence. This is just like a fun game that people play. Like you've never heard someone make the argument that kids playing laser tag causes them to be violent later on in life, causes school shootings and stuff like that. It's so dumb. But yeah. So now we have this part. This is the stuff that people have been talking about. A lot of people, well, we'll get into that, have been very, like, what's the word I'm looking for? Just very, like, dismissive and condescending towards Kyle Rittenhouse over this. But let's watch this clip, too. Just because, I mean, this is what everyone's talking about right now.
There were three people right there.
Take a deep breath, Kyle.
That's what that's what I run. We're gonna just take time for our break anyway. You can just relax for a minute, sir. We're gonna take a break.
Yeah, so this is like very clearly a like trauma response or a very like emotional response to this. Like, but then we have people like LeBron James, for example. What tears? I didn't see one. Man, knock it off. That boy ate some lemon heads before walking into court. It's shit like this that like actually pisses me off. It's like you watch someone have. So this is like a kid who was 17 years old, went to a protest, was getting attacked by people, and had to like defend himself and kill 3 people. Or yeah. So I feel like this is a response that is fairly justified. It's not very much like, oh my gosh, this is something that he'd obviously be faking. I mean, I know me. If I shot 3 people, like I mean, I'd be fine right afterward. I'm tough. Like what? Yeah, like real strong, real tough LeBron James. Yeah. Oh God. I don't know. This pissed me off. So yeah. Just like I don't know. It just feels like these are the people that are supposed to like care about mental health. Like left-wing people are generally the types who are like, oh, we got to be empathetic to people with mental health. Let's stop demonizing mental health problems. But then someone shows like a PTSD response when it's someone on the opposite side of the spectrum and they just laugh at him. They make fun of him. It's really fucked up. I don't know. It's terrible. I don't understand it at all. I don't know. It just stuff like this makes me feel like this whole case to people, it's not about like truth. It's about their political ideology that they're trying to push. It doesn't matter like what's the truth of the situation. And they're not trying to look at it and like, oh, is Kyle Rittenhouse actually acting in self-defense? It becomes this war of like BLM versus the alt-right, basically, for everybody on the left. It feels like people are attacking Kyle Rittenhouse just because they're pro BLM and okay with the protests, and Kyle Rittenhouse is like this perfect right-wing boogeyman for them to attack. Someone who, I think it was probably dumb for him to go to the protest with a gun. I think that was a bad decision on his part. But like, he is the perfect right-wing boogeyman. He's like, he goes to this protest with an AR-15, like the gun that the left hates, to defend property, which is something that the left is not also a very big fan of, defending property rights. So this is like the perfect, and he's white, and he's like he has the white supremacist look too, you know, like the like comb over haircut, the Richard Spencer type haircut. Like he's everything that perfect for the left to hate, and hate him they did. It's just terrible. I don't know. And then they watch this like trauma response, and they laugh at it. It just makes me feel like these people don't care about truth. They don't care about like basic human emotions. They care about what's gonna make their side look good. They care about I don't know. It's just fucked up. Tremendous Fane says, did you see the tweet from Tara Dublin? And that's actually a perfect segue because right up here, guess what these two pictures are? This clip, this one, right away. I saw this, I'm like, oh my gosh. Like, this is just fucked up. Like, literally using, it's like everything that I just talked about, using like this trauma response to make fun of it, and then going one step further and minimizing male rape, basically. That's like, I don't know. That's as big. I don't know. It feels like if this were like a woman, for example, and someone made this tweet about her, like oh, maybe like I don't know, it's just some tweet where it's like making light of raping a woman. Everybody would attack them. Everybody would criticize them. But then the second, and this is something that people have done. Long before this, just the joke about when somebody's going to prison, they just make fun of them and like, oh, their butthole's going to get fucking destroyed. Oh my gosh, they're going to turn from a tight end to a wide receiver in prison. Like, it's just a really fucked up joke. Like, the punchline of the joke is literally that this guy is going to get raped. That's literally the punchline. And coming from someone who is ostensibly on the left, who is supposed to like care about being like anti-rape culture, like, this is kind of fucked up. This is like perpetuating rape culture, and it's really, really fucked. It's I don't know. And I mean, there's ways to do those jokes in a way where it's like where it's funny, but it's just, I don't know. It's there's a fine line when you're like actually taking it seriously, which is what it seems like she is. When it's like clearly just like an absurd, like, I don't know. So yeah, let's move on to this as well, just to show some hypocrisy to back this up a little bit. So this is also a tweet, image that's been going around a little bit. So it just really just demonstrates her hypocrisy. We don't participate in ordinary pickup lines because we do not make fun of sexual assault, but extra especially when it's kids. And then you have the Kyle Rittenhouse thing that she just said, making a joke about sexual assault, and guess what? In this situation, it's a kid. Isn't that crazy? Wow. We don't make fun of a sexual assault, but extra especially when it's kids. Makes a joke about sexual assault of a child. But it's okay because Kyle Rittenhouse is a man. I mean, men can't get raped. That's not a problem at all. I don't know. It's just fucked up. So this is the state. This is the state of society. It's all. This is no. I don't know. I think moral of the story. I don't know. I think Kyle Rittenhouse is probably gonna get off in this trial. The prosecution has been incredibly weak, although we technically don't know because it's going to be decided by a jury whether he's guilty or innocent. But I mean, if the jury is even somewhat rational, he should get off. If he doesn't, I'm going to be actually like extremely pessimistic about the state of our courts and the state of our culture. But I guess earlier I saw this LeBron James tweet, and I basically just posted about it on my Snapchat, and like non-political people, like normal people in my life. They were swiping up and they're like, yeah, I agree. So yeah, I think hopefully people actually understand like that this Kyle Rittenhouse case is pretty obviously a case of someone defending themselves, but like the left is essentially just trying to attack him instead, because of ideological purposes. But I'm not sure. We'll see. We will have to see. I think the trial's still ongoing right now, but yeah, exactly. Oh yeah, and you're right. She does have the blue check mark. Look at that. Isn't that great? Oh gosh.